Nobody saw this coming. The Las Vegas Raiders just made a move so calculated, so quietly brilliant, that the rest of the NFL didn't even notice. And by the time they do, it might already be too late. Please like and subscribe for more Raiders update. Let's be real for a second. When was the last time you saw a team in today's NFL actually play the long game? Every franchise is rushing their rookie quarterbacks onto the field, throwing them into the fire before they're ready, and then acting shocked when things fall apart. But Vegas is doing something completely different. Something that on the surface looks simple, but when you break it down, it's actually kind of genius. Kirk Cousins is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders starting quarterback in Week 1 of the 2026 season. Not a rumor. Not a media hot take. This is a practically locked-in decision inside the organization, and it carries a whole lot more weight than most people realize. Here's the thing. Cousins is 37 years old. And yes, people are already rolling their eyes. But before you write him off, let's talk about what this man actually did in Atlanta. Playing inside a well-structured system, he put up 1,721 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, and only 5 interceptions. His rating sat at a clean 76.0, with 9 big-time throws and only 5 plays that carried any real turnover risk. Those numbers don't belong to a quarterback who is washed up. Those numbers belong to a quarterback who is smart, disciplined, and efficient. And efficiency is exactly the ingredient the Raiders need right now. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because Cousins isn't the whole story. Not even close. Behind the scenes, the Raiders are doing something that almost never happens in professional football. They are building their future quarterback in real time, directly from the starter himself. Fernando Mendoza, the young signal caller the Raiders are quietly grooming, isn't just studying a playbook. He is studying Kirk Cousins, every single read, every footwork sequence, every progression through a play. He is watching footage. He is comparing executions. He is then going out to practice and replicating what he sees at full speed. Think about how rare that is. Most teams separate their starter from their backup development. Vegas is doing the opposite. They've essentially created a live masterclass, where the successor is being built directly from the model he's meant to replace one day. And analysts who have seen Mendoza up close are not holding back their excitement. The word being used repeatedly. Maturity. Not for a second-year player. Not for an experienced backup. For a rookie. His ability to read defenses and process information before the snap is described as genuinely out of the ordinary, something you simply don't see at that stage of a quarterback's career. So you've got Cousins delivering results in the present, and Mendoza preparing to take over the future. The Raiders aren't rebuilding. They are reloading. And the rest of the league might be seriously underestimating what's being built in Las Vegas right now. Who do you think takes over as the franchise quarterback first? Is Mendoza going to force his way onto the field faster than anyone expects? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. But wait, the quarterback room is only one piece of this puzzle. Because the Raiders front office isn't just thinking about who throws the ball. They're thinking about who catches it. And that conversation leads to a name that is generating serious buzz heading into 2027. Here's the uncomfortable truth that Raiders fans need to sit with. Even with a stabilized quarterback situation and a promising young talent on the rise, this offense still has a major hole. There is no true number 1 wide receiver on this roster. No game-breaking, defense-destroying, third-down converting weapon that makes opposing coordinators lose sleep at night. The current group has speed. It has potential. Players like Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, and Jalen Naylor bring something to the table. But a true game changer. That's a completely different conversation. And the Raiders front office knows it. That is exactly why one name keeps coming up in scouting circles when people talk about the 2027 NFL Draft. Cam Coleman. Coleman played college football in one of the most inconsistent offensive environments imaginable, and he still posted 56 receptions, 708 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now he's transferred to Texas, where he'll have better protection, a more reliable system, and the platform to truly explode. Analysts are not just projecting incremental improvement. They are talking about a leap, the kind of leap that puts a receiver in the 10 to 13 touchdown range in a single season. That's not a depth piece. That's a franchise weapon. Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt has already placed Coleman among the top talents in the entire 2027 draft class, describing him as someone with every physical and mental tool needed to become one of college football's biggest stars, and eventually, one of the NFL's most dangerous receivers. Here's what makes this even more layered. During the 2026 draft, the Raiders deliberately chose not to address wide receiver in the early rounds. They reinforced other areas instead. That wasn't an oversight. That was a message. The front office is telling you exactly what they're planning. They're waiting for the right receiver, not just any receiver. Comment challenge time. Which current Raiders wide receiver do you think deserves to be the #1 target right now? Drop a name below and let's see who Raider Nation is riding with. But none of this happens in a vacuum. To bring in new pieces, you have to create room. And that brings us to the most complicated decision currently sitting on the Raiders' front office desk. Aidan O'Connell is a problem, but not in the way you might think. The problem isn't that he's bad. The problem is that he might actually be too good to keep sitting on the bench. Here are the facts. O'Connell threw for 3,932 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He's beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. He's shown he can compete in high-pressure situations against elite competition. And is doing all of this on a contract worth approximately $3.8 million, one of the most team-friendly quarterback deals in the entire league. In a recent ranking of the best quarterback values heading into 2026, O'Connell came in at number 12 on the hot contract list, ahead of starters on multiple rosters around the league. That's not a backup's reputation. That's a starter's value at a backup's price. And teams around the NFL have absolutely noticed. Sources suggest the Raiders could realistically land a 4th-round pick in the 2027 draft if they move O'Connell before the season, a return that blows past the late-round compensation most people originally expected. That is real draft capital. Capital that could be used to build around Mendoza when his time comes. But here's the tension. Keep O'Connell, and you have arguably the most secure quarterback room in the NFL. 3 legitimate options at the most important position in football. Trade O'Connell, and you accelerate the timeline, bringing in the assets to transform this roster faster. Neither choice is wrong. Both choices carry risk. And through all of this, Mendoza keeps working. Every single day, 25 to 50 extra plays on top of the normal practice load, working directly with the offensive line, building chemistry, building instinct, building readiness. This is not a player who is comfortable waiting. This is a player who is demanding his own opportunity through sheer preparation. And then Cousins himself dropped a line that hit different. The best player needs to be on the field. He wasn't talking about himself specifically. He was talking about football. He was talking about competition. He was saying, earn it. So here is where Raider Nation stands right now. Kirk Cousins anchoring the present. Fernando Mendoza being built for the future. Cam Coleman potentially arriving as the offensive weapon that changes everything. And Aidan O'Connell representing a trade decision that could fast-track this entire process. This is not just roster management. This is a franchise being architecturally redesigned, layer by layer, decision by decision, into something that could genuinely threaten the rest of the AFC for years to come. The question is simple. Do you keep O'Connell for complete security, or do you flip him for the assets that help build a truly dominant offense? There's no wrong answer. But there is a Raider Nation answer. Drop it in the comments. Let's talk football.